You listened to him on the KVJ show for years. Every time he tried to talk sports, he'd get shut down. After years of begging, we finally gave in. Brought to you by Bremen Motor Cars in West Palm and Jupiter. A world-class experience. Visit BremenBMW.com. And by Wellington Anti-Aging. Low T? Go to WellingtonAntiAging.com. It's Kevin's Other Show on 640 The Hurricane.
We didn't make shots early. We turned it over. I mean, it was not a very good game. Played soft, actually. I mean, you can't do that with these guys. These guys are good. We're going to have to play a lot better on Tuesday.
Yep, there you go. Soft.
Yep.
The wise words of one Mike D'Antoni on what the Rockets did last night. Why are there so many blowouts going on? I mean, East and West here. You realize the closest game that we've had in these semifinals was both game ones, where it was a 13-point difference.
It's insane. 13 points. That's the closest these games have been.
Since then, the closest margin has been 22 points.
Right.
22 points.
That was the Rockets winning game 2.
I mean, it's crazy. And then the game where they were soft, game 3, 41-point difference. I mean, that's insane. 41 points.
I didn't see the actual ending to that game last night. I didn't know that Golden State won by 41 until I looked at the score this morning. I'm like, wait, what? How is that possible? This is a Western Conference Finals.
126-85. How does it fluctuate so much? I just don't understand this ping-ponging back and forth. There's not been a good game.
No, not one. I mean, the Celtics in game 1, they win by 25. Game 2, they win by 13. And the Cavs win by 30 in game 3. How do you have a team that goes up 2-0 in the series, then lose by 30 points in game 3? And now this one, both teams with the Rockets and Golden State tied 1 apiece. Both games blowouts on their respective sides. Now the Warriors win by 41?
How's this happen?
This is insane.
How's that happen? I mean, this late into the game when there's so much riding on the line, and we keep hearing the same story every single time. The coaches come out and they say, we didn't put in a good effort. We were soft. We didn't play hard. How are you not playing hard at this point in the postseason? I don't understand how this is happening. It's crazy.
I mean, no, it's a good point where you get this far. It's such terrible coach speak, isn't it? I mean, they don't have any other excuse but to say, we were soft. We didn't play hard enough. You're in the Western Conference Finals. You're going against the team, in the Rockets' case, that's been to the finals 3 straight years. How are you not playing hard enough?
I don't.
How is that your excuse?
I just can't even. I can't even figure out what is going on here. And I mean, so unpredictable. It's crazy. And boy, I guess, even just kind of like looking back here at the odds, it's got to be insane for Vegas to try to figure this out. But, we were looking back to on Friday, talking about the Cavs and Celtics, and I said, what is going on? What do they know that they had 6.5-point favorites, I think, is what they had the Cavs at in that game. And it turns out that they wind up winning by a lot more than that. They wind up winning by 30.
I mean, it wasn't even close the entire time. I mean, I get if you have one off game.
Yeah.
Like, each team you are expected. It is excused if you have one off game in the series, and it usually happens on the road. But this is I've never seen this. On both sides, this is happening.
Yeah, I just can't even figure if you're trying to lay money on this series or if you're in Vegas, how do you even try to put a number on any of these spreads that are going to be going down?
It's their worst nightmare, right? Because it's impossible to handicap at this point. The best they can do is what they're doing tonight, where they have the Cavs favored by 7 points. It's just the same line. They're just recycling the line from Friday.
Yeah.
For Saturday's game that came out on Friday.
Is Cleveland that valuable of a place to play for the Cavs?
I guess. I mean,
they look like a different team. If you went down the scoring line for the Cavs, everybody contributed. It was a really good scoring line. And LeBron was saying that, just what we had been saying, that when you're looking at any of these teams, you can tell who the winner is going to be because starting 5 and then at least 1 or 2 bench players are going to be double figures.
Right. And
spreading the ball around. And you know what? LeBron did his great job of spreading the ball around, and they were actually able to finish. That was really the story of what happened on Friday.
Isn't it amazing, though, how, as far as the Cavs and Celtics, when you look at Game 2 compared to Game 3 where they won by 30, where they lose by 13 points, and that's the game where LeBron scores 21 points in the first quarter?
Yeah.
It's amazing the difference.
Yeah, I just don't even know how you even try to explain what is going on, what's happening. How are these teams, doing what they're doing?
So confused. I mean, we're supposed to know what to say about this. It's just so confusing. Doesn't make any sense.
I mean, are you seeing home court advantage being a huge difference in this series? I think if you look at the Cavs, it's a huge difference for them.
For the Cavs, yes.
What would you say about the Warriors?
The Warriors, I mean, I know it's a cliche, but that place is a tough spot to win. It really is. I mean, for Houston, now this is their worst nightmare because they already gave up that game in Houston.
Right.
They have to win a game on the road if they're going to win this thing in 7.
Warriors right now got a 16-game home win streak. They just passed the Bulls, who had the best before that at 15. So
Amazing.
It's the best playoff home win streak ever. And so the Rockets have got to break that if they want to try to get through.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
That's why I wouldn't do any of the sports gambling because I don't even know what you would try to lay this on.
I can't. I start panicking because I've done it before. But like I bet like these stupid little teasers like during the college football season. That's really my forte, my specialty. And you find these 13-point teasers where you take like Miami plus 10 in a game where they're minus 3. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, I'll put $10 on this teaser. That's the furthest I will go. Otherwise, I just start panicking.
So what are you going to see tonight? Are you going to see another Cavs blowout? Do you think they're going to meet the spread or the Celtics? It seems like if any team could right the ship quick, it would be the Celtics in this.
You would think so because of what Brad Stevens has been able to do, but man, the Cavs for some reason have it at home. The Celtics don't have it on the road. We have to remember too, before everybody started praising Brad Stevens like it was the second coming, they almost lost in the first round. They went 7 against Milwaukee.
Right.
Like a lot of people forget that.
Yeah.
They were almost out completely. So it's probably going to be another blowout. I mean, really, honestly, it's probably going to be another blowout tonight with the Cavs winning this game by double digits.
So you like Vegas's odds?
Yeah.
You take the Cavs in 7.
I think you run with it. I mean,
Okay.
because they can't, in their right minds, nobody will touch the game, so you can't put it higher than 7. Realistically, it should probably be Cavs minus 10 if you just average out the way this series has been going. But they can't do it. They'll scare everybody away.
Yeah, the wild swings, yeah. You got to try to get people to bet.
Right.
What do you think is your favorite part of clowning that you've seen so far happening in these series? There's been a lot of stuff. Did you see Chewbacca was sitting courtside for the
stupid.
Cat? I'm like, come on, man. I mean, I know the Solo movie is coming out.
Right.
But you got to put Chewbacca courtside?
So dumb. Was he there the whole game?
I was wondering that. I'm like, because you have to be sweating your balls off if you are in that Chewbacca costume.
Absolutely.
And you're sitting there courtside. They got the lights and everything that's going on. I don't know. I think he was there a good bit. Every time I saw it, it seemed like he was. They showed the Chewbacca.
I think he was sitting there the whole game. And to his credit, that was the actor who's playing Chewbacca in the new Solo movie.
Oh, was it really?
It's,
Okay.
It's,
so
it's a
that's
young
legit.
guy. Yeah,
Okay.
it's not, what's his name? Peter
Mayhew. Yeah, who
it's-
did the other ones.
He did the other ones. It's not him. It's this younger guy now that they got for this prequel. And
I think an old guy would gas out in that, right?
Oh, he's done.
If you've ever been in a stupid mascot costume, if you've ever
hot.
had to do that, oh my God. I mean, it's unbearable.
Yeah, it's hot.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, some of them have fans in them. But yeah, one of our former interns used to actually be the mascot for the Cardinals.
Oh, really?
Yeah, at Roger Dean.
How'd that go?
Well, he loved it. I don't
Right.
I don't know why. But every time you would go to talk to him, he would be sweating through that thing. He would be. I saw him one time when he got out of it. I'm like, why? Why do you love doing this? I'm like, that's got to be miserable the entire time.
No, that sounds terrible.
Yeah.
It's like my worst nightmare.
I made the mistake one time when I was a kid. You ever heard of the San Diego Chicken? You remember
Sure, yeah,
the mascot? Well, they were doing the thing where they're passing him up through, and I unfortunately got right underneath the chicken butt. And it was so wet. I was it was the most disgusting thing. I'm like, I just had sweaty chicken ass juice. Like, it's all over my hand. It was the worst thing ever.
That is horrifying.
So it's a miserable experience to be in one of those costumes.
Oh, that's a shame. I'm sorry for you.
Yeah. Oh, I'd be sorry for Chewbacca. I don't know how that guy was sitting courtside in that whole thing.
I know, that whole time. Like, you're right, under those lights. And don't you feel kind of bad for the people who's sitting behind him? I mean, those are expensive
Yeah,
seats, and
right.
you're like, oh, figures my luck. I have a 7-foot Wookiee sitting in front of me now.
Yeah, there's no way they could have kept them there. It had to be probably a TV timeout thing where the guy was going to get an air, and then when they would bring him down, they'd throw him out there, and he'd do that.
There was a funny picture. I don't know if you saw this. It was a funny picture going around on Twitter with the actor. He has some Finnish name I can't pronounce. I'm not going to try. But he met the guys from Lord of the Rings, like Billy Boyd and Elijah Wood. They played all the hobbits and everything. And he's like, oh, I got to meet my heroes, and, as far as movies go. And they take the picture, and you can't see his head. It's Elijah Wood and all these guys. What's his name? Sean Astin.
Right.
They're standing there taking the picture, and you just see his chest with the three guys standing next to him. And he's too tall. You can't see his head.
Didn't even fit in the photo.
No. It was classic. Why doesn't Kendrick Perkins know who he is?
I don't know if he's just clowning around. How do you not know who Chewbacca is?
I think he was serious.
Really?
I think he was serious.
When he made that comment, said he really didn't know who it was?
Yeah. Kevin Love asked him. Mm-hmm. He shows him a picture of Chewbacca, and he says, oh, I don't keep up with that new stuff.
I'm not buying
What?
that.
It's 40 years old, dude. What are you doing?
How bad do you think it was that Steph Curry drops an F-bomb?
Here's what I learned about Steph Curry from that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that it wasn't okay for Steph Curry to curse. I guess we don't normally see it.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen it. Apparently his mom is like real strict. And so, yeah, I was going to say, I haven't ever heard Steph Curry drop an F-bomb. And he said, this is my effing house.
Now that I think about
So he
it.
dropped it hard.
Yeah, he did. He pulled kind of like a Dwayne Wade has done that.
Yeah.
A couple of guys have done that. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen him curse before. They weren't happy about it.
Here's Klay Thompson sounding off on it.
I saw that. That was funny. I hope Riley didn't see it, but that's a rare occurrence. I've never really seen Steph use that language, but that's what the playoffs brings out of you. So don't do that at home, kids. It's just once in a while.
And to me, probably the best soap opera saga going on here with the semifinals in the NBA is, when is Charles Barkley and Draymond Green finally going to throw down?
It's got to happen.
Here's Charles Barkley talking to Kevin Durant about how annoying Draymond Green is.
Is Draymond Green as annoying in person as he is on television?
Annoying to who?
You should go talk to him downstairs.
Yeah, I'm saying, downstairs. You can go ask him.
Go ask him, man.
Hey,
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I love Charles at the end, too, where he's just speechless. Like, I don't know what to say now.
Yeah, right.
It's a rant. I love it.
Coming up here, got a fun round of Drunk and Dumb.
Nice.
Some of the stupidest stories you're ever going to hear. And, of course, many of them are from Florida. We get that for you coming up next.
Get Kevin's other show whenever the hell you want on YouTube and at 640thehurricane.com.
Gotta say, pretty impressive what the Vegas Golden Knights have got going on.
Dude, amazing.
You know, the thing that really kind of sucks, though, being if you're a Florida Panthers fan, is, one, they got your former coach and one of their best players so far in the Stanley Cup playoffs was a guy that the Panthers completely left unprotected when it came to the expansion draft, and they plunked him right up, and he's been great. So, I mean, two key pieces formerly of the Panthers are what's getting them there.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. The last time we saw Gerard Gallant down here was when he was leaving in a taxi on the road trip when he was fired.
Yeah.
And the Panthers didn't let him come home.
And he's got to be loving being in Vegas.
It's amazing.
I mean, he's out there. They're getting great crowds. He's a hero.
Yeah.
He's got a whorehouse that's offering up free sex to the entire team.
What?
Yeah. Sherry's Ranch in Nevada.
That one kind of came out of left field, didn't it?
Yeah, they say if they get it all done and win the Stanley Cup, they get a massive sex victory party.
Whoa. Whoa.
Like they're going to, okay, you're a professional hockey player in Las Vegas, like you need to go to a whorehouse to get it.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
That's a good
But
point.
still, it's great publicity for them.
I mean, how happy do you think some of these guys' wives are, though, when they hear that? Because now this is a story that people have picked up on.
Yeah.
These guys going home now, and the wives are like, honey, you better not do this if you win the Stanley Cup. Oh, no, it's fine. It's fine.
They got a ways to go, but they're a great story. I mean, doing it in your first season, no team has ever done it in year one. There have been a couple expansion teams that have done it, I guess 6, including the Panthers who did it in 96.
I forgot they were an expansion team when they made the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, made it to the Cup final, but didn't win it. They're up there with the Montreal Maroons.
Oh, nice. Good old
Maroons?
How could I forget the Maroons?
And the Boston Bruins did it in 1927.
Really?
Yeah. So the Panthers are in good company, but Vegas said they want to win the whole thing. Looks like, I don't know, Tampa Bay Lightning if they get it done. They say that the odds, though, this could be really bad for Vegas, their home city, because when the season started with the Vegas Golden Knights, odds to win the title were 500-1.
I love this story.
So if you laid, $1,000 on that, how much do they have to pay out? And there might have been a lot of people saying, what the hell? I'm here. Let's go ahead and take the odds. Let's just throw down some extra money.
That's $50,000, right?
Yeah, I wonder how many bets they've got for them to win it and how much they're really sweating.
I was reading a little bit on it because I just love the story that there were some people who just had the balls to actually put some money down on this when they were 500-1 back in October and September.
Mm-hmm.
From what they were saying, the Mirage in these places, they're trying to downplay it. They're saying that, how they use the term grocery money? Where people were betting like $20
right,
at 500
so
to 1
it's
and
not
stuff
like
that.
nobody threw down serious cash.
Right, yeah. It's not like someone put like $1,000 down on it.
Right.
But it's enough where people put it down, they had to pay out a pretty decent amount if everybody won.
Okay, so no one's gone and no one went hard and said, hey, give me $10,000 on the 500-1 odds.
Right, I don't think anybody's going to win $1 million if the Golden Knights pulled this off, which they look good, man. They might actually do it.
Well, time for some of our better drunk stories today.
Oh,
the
man.
dumb and drunk.
I love it.
Yeah. In fact, I'll give you a story. You tell me, are they dumb or drunk?
See, if Ricky was here,
Yeah.
he's out today. This is perfect for him because he's both dumb and drunk, just at separate times.
Okay.
Depends on which time of the day.
There's a guy in Northwest Florida got caught walking around his neighborhood naked in the rain.
Okay.
He had a bottle of cooking oil with him.
Of course he did.
And when the cops stopped him, he said he lives in the neighborhood and that he receives sexual gratification by toughening his penis and walking naked in the rain.
Come on.
I don't know what that means.
What?
I don't know if it's a regimen that's going on. I don't know. Toughening is a misrepresentation for hardening. I don't know what this guy's exactly doing. And the cooking oil isn't for what you think it might be for.
It's pretty slippery.
He says he has the cooking oil because he likes to rub it on his legs. What a freak.
Some weird people out there, man.
Can you imagine this guy lives in your neighborhood? He said he normally does it on the beach.
Oh, okay.
And he's only done it once before in his neighborhood. This is the first time he was caught. He was charged with lewd and lascivious behavior,
Right.
loitering, and appropriately also charged with prowling. which tells you that cooking oil was not for his legs. If you're going to throw in prowling on that, you know what he was doing with that cooking oil.
I mean, you don't buy that, right? That the cooking oil is for his
Nah,
legs.
you know exactly what the cooking oil was fun. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and that toughening, yeah. What?
Yeah, he's toughening all right.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
So what happens in Brooklyn when you get a bad haircut and complain about it?
Yeah.
You get thrown through a plate glass window.
Oh, it's standard.
It's tough in Brooklyn, huh?
Jeez, man. Better watch out.
Barber gives this guy a haircut. The guy turns around and complains to the barber. He's like going, this looks horrible. So the barber takes him and chucks him out the plate glass window,
Good
and then the
Lord.
barber takes off running.
Oh, he took off running.
He's still on the land. They haven't tracked him down
You're
yet.
kidding me. So we have a rogue barber on the loose.
That's a way to get out. I love it.
Just looking to throw people through windows. Gosh.
I'm not sure exactly what the game plan was on this. There was a couple in Texas reportedly thought that Armageddon was about to happen. So they gave away all their stuff, handed out $100 bills to random people in a park. Then they set their own house on fire and walked away from the blaze completely naked. That's unbelievable.
What is happening?
I don't know.
Why are there so many people naked and walking around outside?
And by the way, unfortunately, I don't think they were drunk.
They weren't?
No.
I was hoping they were drunk.
In fact, I don't think anybody in today, it was all dumb, no drunks.
Really?
All dumb, no drunks today.
That is upsetting.
Yeah.
I was hoping they were all drunk because that's just rough.
And the most insane story from the weekend happened on a Frontier flight from Orlando International Airport late last week.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on with this passenger, and it doesn't say that they were drunk. They have to be insane, out of their mind. I don't know what's going on, but this angry passenger's wife complained about being allergic to this service dog that was a Great Dane.
Oh, no.
So apparently,
Oh, jeez.
the husband punches the service dog.
Of course.
The dog yelps and tries to hide. So the dog's deaf owner then shouts and signs angrily at the couple. Then at some point, the dog puncher did the same to the 20-week pregnant deaf woman.
Come on!
Even punched her in the stomach.
What?
What?
What's wrong with people?
That's when the deaf woman's husband tackles the guy in the terminal, holds him there till the police arrives.
Dude.
She will be pressing charges, and the FBI is now involved because it started on the airplane itself.
I mean, just throw the guy, climb the 30,000 feet and throw this guy off the airplane. Just throw him off.
And the amazing thing, there's no word that he's hammered.
Just,
What is wrong with people?
what?
Yeah.
You punched a woman. Okay, the trifecta. A
Yeah.
woman,
You punched the
disabled,
dog. Right.
pregnant, and the dog. I mean, forget about the dog. A pregnant, disabled woman.
All you can say is, what?
You came out with some doozies today.
Yeah, there you go. Pretty strong round of dumb and drunk here
Goodness
today.
gracious.
Coming up in just a couple minutes, man, you heard about this Cardinals rookie throwing some serious gas, did what's never been done before in baseball. And did you hear about the Marlins' amazing collapse yesterday? It's monumental and one for the books. We'll go over it coming up next.
Think Loria did a bad job? Wait till you hear this crap. It's Kevin's Other Show on 640 The Hurricane.
Well, last segment we were saying, what? I'm looking at what the Marlins did yesterday, and I'm saying, what?
We got a lot of head shaking going on this show today.
How does this happen? The Marlins are up 9-5 with 2 outs in the 9th inning. And in that time, the bullpen gives up 6 runs. There's 2 outs in the 9th inning. You're up 9-5.
Seems
And
like you
wind
should
up
win the game.
losing 11-9. You would think, yes, with 1 out, you should win the game. I mean, that's unbelievable. You're up 6 after 4, 9-4 to begin the 9th. So that's starting the inning. You have a 5-run lead. All you got to do is just get 3 outs and protect a 5-run lead. And you wind up giving up, 7 runs in the final inning?
6 or 7. Was it 10-9 or 11-9? I forget.
I mean, at that point, maybe you stopped counting, but they could have kept it going.
It's one of those. Either way, it was just an epic collapse.
I mean, it really is. It's unbelievable how they did that. That's crazy.
That's a good point. Like, even if you're trying to lose at that point, like, you are actively now working to lose.
Right.
You're up 4 runs with 2 outs in the 9th.
Yeah.
And Mattingly says, you know what, guys? Lose this game right now. It's hard to do.
Because, I mean, the chance of getting a ground ball, getting a pop fly, I
Yeah.
mean, whatever. Yeah, you're up.
It's really hard to do, even if you're trying at that point.
It's pretty amazing.
It's impressive. I'm actually more impressed than anything.
I think that's just kind of, it's not the way the Marlins are finding how to lose, but just in the style.
Yeah.
That's what's so impressive and so amazing this entire season. You're just like, what? How does this happen?
It's so Marlins, man. We got to make that shirt. Just as that's so Marlins.
It's so Marlins. It
Yeah.
really is. Meanwhile, the Dodgers, who the Marlins last faced, they got a hot hand now. They swept the Nationals and got their 4th win in a row.
They
So-
got back on track.
Yeah, they're starting to heat up. Watching
Okay.
them. The Yankees doing pretty well. 30-13 blasted the Royals yesterday, 10-1.
So many bad teams in baseball, and the Yankees are just feasting on them right now.
But you know what is, to me, and this is what's impressive, and this is one of the big differences. And when you're talking about looking around the Major League Baseball, I think's got to ask the question, do we have too many teams? You look at some of the crowds, even looking at the Atlanta game,
Right.
and I was just watching some of the highlights, it was still a sparse crowd. And I don't know if it's because the Marlins jumped out to the lead that they did, but it was kind of a sparse crowd. And you look at a town like Kansas City. That's one of the smallest cities in Major League Baseball. The Royals are now 14-32.
Oh my gosh.
14-32. I mean, it's atrocious. I mean, they've they have actually lost 3 more games than the Marlins. So they're doing worse than the Marlins. And I know it's the Yankees in town, but at that game yesterday at Kauffman Stadium, they still had 24,121 fans, where the Marlins are drawing 5,000.
That's correct. Yes.
So, I mean, if you're Major League Baseball and you were looking around, and the Royals, just even last year, the year before, weren't bad. They're a very competitive team.
They were in the World Series back-to-back years, and they won once. I mean, we're talking within the past 4 years that has happened.
Right. And the city size, to me, is unbelievable. I mean, Miami is a top 11 size city in America.
Right.
Kansas City is like 30th.
Are they that small?
They're a small town. I lived in Kansas City for a couple years.
I didn't know it was that small of a town.
I mean, a town that size is bringing out 24,000 people, and a city the size of Miami can't get more than 5.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's just that Midwestern, I don't know what you call it, allegiance, loyalty. They just have a different mindset over there when it comes to their sports teams.
Well,
I don't know what it is.
Well, I know what it is. One, there's a lot less to do.
Yeah.
So, comparatively, you also have the fact that you're not going to have a ton of transplants. Kansas City's got what some of those other cities do, in that you're born, raised, live, die in Kansas City. So there's a lot more allegiance because your dad, your grandpa, they rooted for the Royals and for the Chiefs. Chiefs, same thing. They packed the stadium. It's one of the toughest places to play in the NFL in Kansas City because they pack that stadium like every game, and they are loud.
It's always full. Even when they're having bad years, that place was full.
Always full because you got nothing else going on. I guess is how you do it. But again, to me, I think just everything that happens with the Marlins, it shows you what a monumentally bad decision it was to put Marlins Park right at the same side of where the Orange Bowl is.
Horrendous. And actually, we were just talking about this. It was myself and Paul, our program director. He was telling me that he went to Atlanta this weekend. And
he was there, yeah.
He was there, right? Mm-hmm. He was telling you. And he went to, the new ballpark. And the way he talked about the setup sounds exactly like what the Marlins should have done here. The way they built it kind of outside of downtown Atlanta. Mm-hmm. They built a whole big city place around it. It's like its own little town is how he described it. I'm like, that sounds perfect. Why? See, what the Marlins should have done, and I said this from the beginning before they went down to Little Havana, bring the stadium up here to Palm Beach County, build up here, which I know they looked out for a little bit, but it was never serious contention.
Well,
build a whole city place, make it its own spot, and then it just never happened.
Well, I remember Don King was big on trying to get him to buy up the Highlight location.
Ah, okay, down in Hollywood.
That was right up here off 45th Street.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Don King was pushing for that. I didn't think that was a good call because 45th Street, traffic-wise, how are you going to handle that?
Yeah.
And you can only come from I-95. That's going to be a logistical nightmare.
Yeah, it would have been
I think that would have been bad. But putting something like, to me, because I remember at the time looking at a majority of the Marlins season ticket owners, which is what you want, that reliable, stable business. From the time, I think they had more from Palm Beach County than they even did from Broward.
You're right.
So, I mean, why you would do such a disservice to your solid, most loyal fan base in Palm Beach County and put it an hour and 20 minutes, especially with traffic, away from your most loyal, consistent fan base. At least put the thing in downtown Lauderdale, where it's reasonable. And you could have something around the ballpark. And you could have parking and everything else. Why you would put it where they put it, where parking is so difficult.
Extremely.
You're taking side streets trying to get in there.
Yep.
And you've got nothing around it. And it's just because of how they swindled the taxpayers in Miami-Dade and got such an unbelievable deal. But it's crooked all the way through and through. And unfortunately, the Marlins are going to have to live with this for how long? I mean, this is a stadium, it's what, on its 5th, 6th year?
I think, 6 years. I believe it's 6th season.
You're going to be stuck in that stadium for easily another 15 to 20 years.
Oh, yeah. No, it's done. I mean, this is what they have to live with now.
And the question is, how long is it going to take? How long can the Marlins go drawing 5,000 to 6,000 fans? Yeah, we've even seen sometimes when they put together, decent teams. Last year, still, they were next to last. And they were knocking on the door. They weren't a playoff team, but they were, you had Giancarlo Stanton that was doing some good stuff. You had some draws, some reason to go. Still next to last behind Tampa Bay. And if they would have done their attendance the way they're doing it this year, they would have finished dead last.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just amazing to me how confused they continue to be in the front office. how bewildered Derek Jeter continues to be. Why aren't we getting fans? Oh, it must be the product on the field. No, dude, it's because of where they built this thing. No one's going to go.
You got an anchor. You got a big problem, and you got to wonder if in 5 years, 10 years, Major League Baseball is going to be like, look, this is an embarrassment. I mean, what are we doing?
That's
Why
what
do
I
we
was
have a
gonna-
team in Miami?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. I mean, you mentioned, you bring up a good point. Will we ever come to the notion, the reality of, are there just too many teams in baseball? I mean, if that happens, does Florida lose both their teams?
The attendance is dropping. I mean, it seems like the ratings are doing okay, but the at-home experience for watching sports is that much better. You know, Major League Baseball, I think it's just kind of a snooze fest,
Yeah.
and people aren't going. I mean, the at-game experience is not awesome, especially when you go to a Marlins game. It's not good.
No, it's just too much work to get there.
Yeah.
It was different for a Miami Hurricane game when you were going to the Orange Bowl. It was a different feel. It was like a
There's a
community
lot more
feel
energy,
to it.
yeah.
Yes, exactly.
And you're seeing it usually a good product.
Exactly. They were great.
Right.
They were. I think it was what, a 56-game home
Yeah,
win
you want to
streak?
be a part of that.
It was a totally different feel.
So you would deal with all the inconveniences, having to
Right.
make sure that you had your Cuban friend with you so you could park in somebody's backyard.
You're not even exaggerating. That's correct.
You dealt with all that because of it. The Cardinals, great city, good crowds. It's a baseball city. They do very well. Jordan Hicks, this rookie right-hander, this is unbelievable. Threw 105 miles per hour on the radar gun twice on Sunday. First pitcher to throw multiple pitches at that speed. In fact, in the 5-pitch at bat, he threw sinkers clocked at 104, 105, 104, 105, 103. So every other pitch, the slowest pitch he had in that 5-pitch series was 103.
How do you even hit that?
It's unbelievable. And actually, the at-bat ended with the strikeout, but it was a wild pitch, so the guy got first base.
I love it.
Yeah, that's just pretty amazing stuff. So, they're continuing to do great. Coming up here, we were talking about the Canes a second ago. Glaring mistake, I think,
Oh?
ESPN made in a list they had called the Dominant 20, the most important teams. Canes not on it, but who is? We'll go over it next.
Be part of the show on Twitter at 640 The Hurricane, hashtag Kevin's Other Show.
I think ESPN is becoming notorious now for some of their awful lists. They've got one called the Dominant 20, the most important teams in all sports that have been the most dominant.
Okay.
The Miami Hurricanes left off of the list. They did not make the top 20.
Well, then it's not a real list.
I wouldn't think so, but I think to be fair, you've got to look at the other ones that did make it.
Kevin, what are you doing? You're going to get me fired up. That's what's going to happen.
Okay, here are the ones that they got. In fact, number one, the most dominant team, according to ESPN of all time, is the 2016-17 Golden State Warriors. 16-1 in the postseason. Best showing in a single NBA postseason ahead of the 2001 LA Lakers that went 15-1 and the 83 76ers that went 12-1. So would you say that that is deserving of number one? Or would you say that is more dominant than what you saw out of the 2001 Miami Hurricanes?
I mean,
And would you say the 2001, if you had to put a Miami Hurricanes team
yeah.
up for nomination for this list, which one was the most dominant Canes team?
Oh, it's definitely that 2001 championship team where they
Yeah.
beat Nebraska in the Rose Bowl. I mean, there were just so many stories about that team, about all the different guys that played on that team.
Yeah, the NFL talent that just came off of that team was unbelievable.
One of my favorite stories to this day, and I mean, I feel bad for the guy, but it's an incredible story. Jonathan Vilma, who is obviously a great NFL player for a long time, was on that championship team. He hit a guy so hard in that Rose Bowl against Nebraska, knocked him clean out during the game, brought him back to the locker room. Game's over. Miami's already won the title. Poor guy had no idea where he was. Says to one of his buddies after the game, "Did we win? What happened?"
No clue.
No
Yeah.
idea what was going on.
Oh, yeah, they were nasty.
I mean, he cleaned his clock.
Yeah.
Andre Johnson, Jeremy Shockey, Clinton Portis. Clinton Portis and Frank Gore were both on that team as running
Right.
backs. Willis McGahee. I mean,
How about the defense?
yeah.
I mean, it was
Ed
unbelievable what they
Reed.
had. Yeah,
Sean Taylor, rest his soul. I mean, all these guys.
unbelievable. and they're not in ESPN's dominant 20.
Yeah, that makes no sense. Out of 20 teams all time, I get it. You don't want to put them number one? Fine. You want to go in the professional leagues? There's other very impressive teams over the span.
2016-17 Gold State Warriors, yeah. Okay, I'm cool with that.
Fine.
Some of the ones in the top, yeah, they make sense. The 98 New York Yankees, 125-50 record, including the playoffs, most wins regular and postseason in a season in league history.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, okay, put them in. They're at number 3. Number 5, they got the 2016 Chicago Cubs.
Why?
They led the league in wins en route to winning their first World Series title since 1908. They snapped the longest World Series drought in Major League history. Right there, you've already broken what your list is supposed to be. It's the dominant 20, the teams that made the biggest impact.
Yeah, they weren't really a dominant team. They were one of the best, but the Indians were right there with them.
Well, you're just a team that won a World Series, and you broke a long curse.
Number 5.
Number 5.
That makes no. They shouldn't even be on that list.
Well,
they weren't a dominant team.
You can't call the dominant 20.
No.
Then at number 6, okay, they got the 2013-2014 Connecticut Huskies women's college hoops.
All right.
Went 40-0, outscored opponents by more than 34 points per game. They won as many games by 50-plus points, 8 as by fewer than 20 points.
Jeez.
So they were dominant. They crushed everyone.
No, I'm good with that.
That seems to make sense.
Yes.
Also on the dominant 20 for ESPN, they got the 2008 Florida Gators.
2008 Gators. Tebow. Aaron Hernandez, the murderer.
19 players eventually selected in the NFL draft on that 2008 Florida Gators team. They've then got the 2004 New England Patriots. Won their first 6 games. They extended their win streak to 21 games, including the postseason since 2003. They say that's the longest streak in league history.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. And they won the Super Bowl. Was that the year they beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl? I think it was. It was
2004.
After they beat the Panthers, and then they went on to beat the Eagles, I believe.
Okay, a Patriots team should be in the dominant 20.
Right, you pick one.
Yeah, just pick one, and they should be in there.
Pretty much.
The 2007 Boston Red Sox, they got it number 16 on their list. Set an MLB postseason record by outscoring their opponents 99-46, the greatest run differential in postseason history.
They were good that year.
Some all good examples, but, I mean, the 2016 Chicago Cubs, if you're talking about the dominant 20, you got to put in the 2001 Miami Hurricanes, right?
Without a doubt. The Cubs, listen, I don't want to trash the Cubs. I like the Cubs. I was rooting for them that year. I wanted them to win the World Series, but they don't belong in that list.
Right.
They were as close to losing that World Series in Game 7 as they were to winning. Mm-hmm. So how does that spell dominance?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me. How does forget Miami not being in the top 5, which is where they should be on this list.
Right.
But they're not even on the list.
They're not on the list. They didn't make the top 20.
Did they not?
There's no Canes team in the dominant 20.
Doesn't make any sense. Out of the 5 national championship teams. And they didn't have just 1 year.
Right.
You know, where it was just 1 year of excellence. These are teams that were great for year after year.
And I didn't give you the whole list. What I gave you was the best examples.
You got me fired up, man.
Yeah. If you want to go check the entire list, go waste your time. Just search for Dominant 20 online. You'll be able to find it.
Go waste your time.
Yeah.
You put that in there.
Talking about dominance, I saw this. LeBron James' 13-year-old son, they say, is close to being able to dunk. Are you impressed? He's close to being able to dunk at 13.
I mean, I could dunk on a 6-foot rim at 13. So I guess
this is a legit 10-foot. Is that really impressive? Because I played basketball with a guy in a very small town that in 8th grade was dunking on a 10-foot rim.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know.
So you've seen this? You've seen this in your
I've
own
seen it. That's why I saw
life.
it. And the article written about this is like, okay, look out. Prodigy Part 2. I'm like going, I don't know. I bet there's a lot of other 13-year-olds that can dunk on a 10-foot rim. I mean, if I've seen it at a small town, small sample size, if you take all the 13-year-olds in America that are playing basketball right now, I don't think it's that impressive.
It sounds impressive. Like the optics of it, when you say an 8th grader is dunking on a 10-foot rim, like, oh, wow, that's amazing. I mean,
and
how
he's
could they do that?
He's not dunking yet. They say he's almost dunking.
Almost dunking.
I had a kid that was dunking on my team.
You might be
in
right.
8th grade.
This might be a non-story.
I think that they're trying to make, because it's LeBron's kid, something that's hugely impressive.
I think you're right about this.
And I don't think I'm impressed.
You convinced me. See, they got me. They drew me in. I was like, oh, wow, he's almost dunking. He's just going to be as good as LeBron.
Until you stop and break it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Got to throw out a shout out to J.J. Watt. And to me, this is what sports is all about. If you play on a team in a community, you be about that community. And nobody is setting the example better than J.J. Watt. If you remember back with Hurricane Harvey, he was out there unloading pallets.
Yeah.
Taking time from when he could or should be in the gym, getting ready, going over game film, whatever it was, because, I mean, this is happening right close to training camp and the beginning of the season, but he's out there committed to the community, and he has a GoFundMe page that raises $37 million for the victims of Hurricane Harvey that affected Houston so horribly. And now he's done it again. He's stepped up. J.J. Watt himself is paying for all the funerals of the shooting victims from Santa Fe High School from Friday.
Good for him.
And he's on it right away.
Amazing.
Setting the example of when you play professional sports and you have that kind of money and that kind of influence, what you do with it.
He's turned into quite the humanitarian, hasn't he?
Oh, absolutely. I just, I think you can not go far enough to applaud it because there's a lot of bad stories and too often professional athletes get a bad rap. But when you see a story like what J.J. Watt's doing, you're like, you got to take a little bit extra time and give that guy a shout out.
No, good call, because, I mean, when we look at different things we want to talk about in the show every day, I can't tell you how many times I skipped over every single day the stupid story about Tristan Thompson cheating on whatever Kardashian he was dating.
Right.
I'm like, why is this continue to be a story? This is what should be talked about.
Absolutely. So we got to give a little bit of time to J.J. Watt. Job well done, my friend.
Yes, sir.
Well, if you want to check the show out on YouTube, you got it right there. You can also just search Kevin's Other Show, the podcast, download it, and find us on Twitter.
You listened to him on the KVJ show for years. Every time he tried to talk sports, he'd get shut down. After years of begging, we finally gave in. Brought to you by Wellington Anti-Aging. Low T? Go to WellingtonAntiAging.com. And by Bremen Motor Cars in West Palm Beach, a world-class experience. Shop BremenPorsche.com now. It's Kevin's Other Show on 640 The Hurricane.